being so successful, and from right up the road in Hamilton, it was inevitable that he would be at the granddaddy of them all, sports status. It was inevitable. Why it's this year and not next year or 5 years from now is for one reason and one reason only. Last year, as is typical, I was sitting over there at the road table, and when Rich Jones was up here receiving the award, Mike Augie gave one of those elbows and said, "Hey, boy, it'd be great if you would ask Jimmy to accept this award tonight." Mike Roble, if you know him, Augie, he never asks for anything. So when Mike Roble asked me, more than happy to ask Jimmy to be here tonight. And that's why Jim is here tonight. So let's hear it for Mike Roble over there. Quickly, I'm going to establish a triangle geometry, a triangle of the relationships that have really led Jimmy to be here tonight. The first leg of the triangle is my relationship with Booth. The second leg of the triangle is my relationship with Jimmy, trying to keep that one clean. Finally, and number three of us together. Leg number one, my relationship with Booth. Tommy was my best friend, and he still is. This February 3rd marks the 7th anniversary of his passing, and as his brother Denny says, the day the music died. It is so true. Not many days pass when something happens in your everyday life that Tommy doesn't pop into my mind. And I'm sure that's really true around the halls of Ronald Baker. One more time, and I will done it once, but let's give it up for Tommy. He's here with us tonight. Triangle leg number two. Though we had played against each other in football and baseball during high school, Jimmy and I did not meet until we were freshmen together in Marietta College. I was a couple days late arriving at Marietta because Billy, Johnny, and I were down in Farmington, New Mexico playing for the national championship. Jimmy's team was knocked out way the hell before that. Anyway, on my first night in campus, I wandered over to a big outdoor cake party. 3-2 beer, honestly. Up comes this tall, lanky, blonde kid. In those days, Jimmy looked like a Q-tip with a cotton ball on top. Skinny as a rail with a big blonde fro. He was wearing, in the dead heat to play office, he was wearing a Hamilton Bay leather sweater. And he walks up to me and gives me a little poke, and I'm glad the joke was ahead of me because now I feel I can tell the truth about what he said. He said, "Hey, you must be that McEwen fucker." That's where our friendship began. The next year, we were 2 of 106 freshmen trying out for 15 slots on the baseball team that was loaded with juniors and seniors. First batting practice, Jimmy takes, we all took 5 swings. Difference was Jimmy hit 4 of them about 600 feet with a wooden bat against the wind. Jimmy wouldn't try out anymore. He was a varsity player from the very first day. Over those 2 years in college and the summer in between, I saw a couple guys every night we played with, playing for Hal Pennington's Wilson Break team. We accomplished a great deal. Both on and off the field. Combined, we hit well over 350 with a ton of extra base hits. Now, there's no laughter out there because you don't really know. I hit about 220 and he did 480. But there wasn't a semester or a season that passed where we weren't on the teams list or various all-league, all-tournament, all-American teams. The first half was true for me, second half was true for him. That'd have been fun if I wasn't Jimmy's friend. I really truly feel that. But Jimmy would have flunked freshman calculus if it wasn't for him. Jimmy got drafted by the Cubs, and those 2 years and that summer in between were 2 of the greatest years of my life, and the 38 years since we've remained just unbelievably close friends. Third leg, 2 quick stories involving the 3 of us, Boo, Jimmy, and I. Jim and I ended up in Marietta together and moved to Miami, but there was a time we almost ended up together in college playing football for Xavier State University. It turns out our senior year in football was Xavier's last year playing sport. But before they dropped football, they were recruiting all three of us. Boog had a full scholarship offer, women, cars. I mean, he was a real thing. Jimmy was on record as saying that he also had a full scholarship offer. Me, well, I wasn't on record for anything. Coach Zucchini would call, and when he called me, he would say, "Hey, what's Tommy doing tonight? Where do you think he's leaving going to school? What type of girls does he like?" Me, being the best friend that I was, I jumped all over that last question. Tommy Roble likes any damn girl, and the more the merrier. Bottom line, that she was interested in me, only if Tommy would follow. Anyway, soon after ASU football banquet, Boog pushed the top. At that point, the top 20 ranked Miami Redskins. Immediately, Coach Zucchini calls for me to stop. A little while later, ASU dropped football. Now, fast forward 38 years, and I'm sitting down in Jimmy's spring training down in Arizona, and we're recounting this story. Jimmy finally comes clean and says, "I did not really receive a full scholarship offer from Xavier. They offered me room and board tuition, everything except laundry, which in those days was itemized on a scholarship offer for $200 a semester." This March, when I heard the word laundry, a bell went off, the final piece to a puzzle. I finally got a hold of Coach Zucchini. After Tommy, again, I said this, but after Tommy committed to Miami, he stopped calling me. And so I called him and said, "Hey, Coach, what are you going to offer me to play football for Xavier? My dad's lifelong dream would be to do that." He said, "Brian, you probably got my name right." He said, "Hey, Brian, we're going to offer you laundry." That's all I was going to get. So 38 years later, I found out that she and I would have went to Xavier. We would have shared the same scholarship, and I would have been doing his laundry. Story number 2. Gosh, I got 4 more minutes. I see Joe over there. He's going to be sorry he gave the mic to me. Back in 74, 75, and 76, in any given Wednesday, this involves the 3 of us again. You can find Boog, Jimmy, and I drinking and drowning for $3 down in Manhattan in Oakland. Wait, you were there. Bunch of you were there. I know I saw a lot of you there. In fact, I even remember Boog poking me as he always would and said, "Hey, that's my sister Jane. I'll be darned if Bruce wasn't chasing her around over there." In our little trio, I was not put in charge of anything because, for the most part, I was usually wearing my mom's paisley blouse and/or I was Davis and salad fan. They did not put me in charge of anything. Boog and Jim were assigned specific duties. Boog was in charge of security. If you don't know him, he should have been in charge of security. Jimmy was put in charge of coming up with our pickup lines. And I wish some of this was not true, such as all this crap's true. Jimmy was put in charge of coming up with our pickup lines, and man, he came up with a dandy that I think he still uses on deck. "Hey there, can you give me that little poke like you did back in 74 to me? Want to get naked and lay in a pile?" Right to the point, very succinct. Needless to say, we walk over into Canada every night. The final touch point between the 3 of us, and I just have one more page after this. Between the 3 of us came in the winter of 2006. Jimmy and I probably had not talked for over a year. And then February 3rd of 2006, Tommy passed away. I'll be darned if on February 4th, the phone doesn't ring and it's Jimmy. And I want to say of all the conversations we had, that was the best conversation I ever had with Jim Tracy. February 4th, 2006. Thank you for that. My last section, I want to give you all a little insight into the Jim Tracy that I have that maybe most of you don't and very few people do. That shooting that is all fresh in our minds from the movie theater in Aurora, Colorado this past summer. Jimmy was the manager for the Rockies at the time. 12 were killed and over 50 were injured. The Rockies had just ended a long road trip, and Jimmy had gotten in at 3 a.m. At 6 a.m., he was in the hospital offering support. No one knew, he didn't tell anybody. In 1974, in Marietta, Jim first introduced himself as Jim Tracy from Hamilton, Ohio. something I've heard him do many times. Jim has never forgotten where he comes from. Long before being Jim Tracy, the Major League ball player for 2 years with 250 career batting average, 11-year manager, 950 plus wins, Major League Baseball's manager of the year in 2009, and long before he became a husband and father of 3, and now a grandpa, Jim was still and is the son, brother, friend, and teammate of some great people up in Hamilton, Ohio. Back in the day, Jim was the king of locker room antics and also making up nicknames. He stuck 3 on me, and if you buy me a couple whiskey sours, you gotta get me really drunk and let you know what they are. He gets away with that and all the other cranky stuff he does. Why? Because Jim has no hidden or complicated agenda. His intentions are fun-loving and transparent for all to see. He has time for everyone and treats everyone with respect, from the Troy Tulowitzkis of the world to the clubhouse guy. Jim can take the edge off of any situation by just being, well, Jim Tracy from Hamilton, Ohio. For those that knew him, when you think of Boo, what jumps out? He was also a tremendous son, brother, friend, teammate, husband to Robin, father to Shannon and Jill, and so proud of where he was from. His family, Purcell, Miami, and for almost 30 years, a teacher and a coach here at Roger Bacon. He defined fun-loving. He was the party. He was Santa Claus. Like Jim, Boo had time for everyone, and also could lighten any situation just by being Tom Roble from Norwood, Ohio. This is the 41st presentation of the Good Fellowship Award and the 6th given out in Boo's name. Some great folks have received this in previous years, but none more fitting than this guy tonight. I am blessed and truly thankful to present to you Jim Tracy from Hamilton,